Hello everyone and welcome back to another day of playing Xin Zhao every day until Zaahen is released on the Rift. Today I have two games for you, bonus game if you guys want to check it out later, but this time playing Xin Zhao I once again lost and I have narrowed down to a problem of me not having good enough micro skill. I think I spent a lot of time learning the macros of the Rift in the beginning of the game because I was assigned as a top laner, and more often than not, I am focused on the entire game state because I played a lot of Shen for a while. So my eyes are always glued on the map to just watch the mini map. I don't actually like watch the lanes, which probably should, but I just watch the health bar and look for the alt angles. And well, Shen is kind of a lane bully, so he doesn't really have to use his skills too much. There's not a lot of skill shots. The champions that I used a lot that requires a little bit more micro would be Ahri and Akali. Both of the champions don't really transfer into Xin Zhao. I feel like the target selection is pretty easy, I would say, with the auto casts. And yeah, I feel like I'm struggling with that a lot. And it's actually costing me quite a few fights, as we will see later on. Starting with the blue buff jungle clear again, we have a Kai'Sa and Blitzcrank dueling, which I assume it's not going to have much lane pyro because the enemy team has a Caitlyn. So they get outranged. And here is the first fight where I say my micro is not good. We see here, I can just go in and smite, which, I don't know if you noticed, I didn't smite at all, and I missed the smite button completely here. I actually dash in and click smite before I did the wind becomes lightning, but the smite never came through. And that is how I lost the fight, I feel like, because I didn't get my health back, I didn't get any advantage, and I just completely lost that fight because I missed the smite. And our mid laner was not there, but Gwen actually roamed up to help me to get the scuttle. She picked up a kill on Vi? Question mark? No. She got the kill on the enemy mid laner, and then the enemy mid laner came and killed her and me. And then our Blitzcrank roamed all the way down. Huge props to the Blitzcrank with his super roam, and got the kill back. However, that is not the best situation because our support got a kill while the enemy mid laner and jungle got a kill. Here I immediately go for a counter invade since I know Vi has been dead for a while, so she's just respawning not too long ago and she won't have time to react to this invasion. And here Aurora and I have arrived, but the lanes were not pushed up enough. There weren't enough minions for a dive, so we just fell back and she has to catch her wave and I can just go back to clearing my jungles. So going back to the micro problem, yeah, I'm not able to do these highly, well, I wouldn't say highly technical plays because it's just clicking buttons, right? But yeah, I missed quite a few smites over the past few videos, as you see, and I think I missed quite a few of my combos, just because I'm not familiar with where the buttons are, which is a surprise. I've played this game for now 2 years now, and I'm still missing the buttons, even though I've been playing on the same devices with the same settings for so long. But let's look at this fight. Caitlyn is pushed up, so I immediately go in and try to go for a fight. The Caitlyn flash my winds becomes lightning. She actually waited for it, and I probably should have ulted earlier on to secure the kill on Leona. But instead, I dashed in late, I miscalculated the tower range, and just gave them a kill. And Kai'Sa couldn't finish her off, because Blitzcrank just fell back instead of continue fighting even though he's half HP, and the enemy Caitlyn is the same amount of health. So that was a bit rough. It was a 3v2, I died, and then it was a 2v2, but then Blitzcrank fell back, so it became a 1v2, and Kai'Sa couldn't finish it off, and it was just a bad situation. And Gwen roamed to mid. She really is likes going around. I think she was trying to help defend my Raptors, but unfortunately she once again got killed. And Aurora went down to catch the lane that Gwen missed. And here we see that actually Vi manipulated the wave into a situation where she actually took my jungle while I was taking her Krugs. but she took Raptors and Krugs, while I only took Krugs and died. So overall, the situation is already not good. And we see Garen is actually building tank, which is a surprise because, you know, you're up against a Gwen. I personally wouldn't build tank against a Gwen, I just built full damage. And here I see that Garen is just placing a ward, but I don't feel like there's an angle to go in. I'm kind of behind, I don't even have an item, so I won't be able to win very hard. And Syndra has already reached some of her higher levels. I don't know how her stacks work completely, but she has gotten quite a few stacks since we just heard the voice line. And Aura is up there with Kai'Sa dead. They traded ADCs at least, so not all is lost. Once I return back to the jungle clearing, but then I see that Syndra is overextended, so I immediately go for chase, dash in and hit my audacious charge, and then wind becomes lightning. And then I have to fall back, and our Kai'Sa DC'd and came back. Maybe it's just an internet lag. And yeah, here I became quite indecisive. I don't know if I should base or not, because I wanted to base. I should have based. But then I see the enemy jungler and ADC hovering around the Blitzcrank, and the Blitzcrank was basing, and then he kind of goes back. And I'm kind of getting mixed signals from him, and I decided, okay, I should stay and try to help him in case he fights, but then he wasn't fighting. So I kind of just wasted the time there, where I could have just went back, bought items, and then cleared an extra camp. So yeah, I think I should just be more confident in my own plays and stop caring so much about the teammates' plays, especially when, yeah, I can't read their intentions. So yeah, I probably shouldn't have made that risk there. But here we are able to secure the better objective, the Rift Herald, and secure first turret pretty early. So that's quite a bit of money, and then I immediately roam towards the dragon, but they already took it, so there's no point going in there since we have no vision there, and it's quite a big risk to just go from that angle just now. Instead, I immediately go to check my blue buff because there's a chance that Vi roamed down after getting the dragon to get my blue buff, and we have no vision and no prio, so I immediately get my blue buff first before I look for anything. And here I'm looking for the angle, and I hit the wing becomes lightning and immediately dash into the Caitlyn. And I make sure to use my ulti late to make sure that I can knock the Leona back. And here I use auto cast again. Instead of dashing into the Vi, I dashed into the Leona. So I missed out on a whole bunch of damage there. And from those health bars just now, if I dashed into Vi instead, I might have been able to kill him before he killed me. So once again, another micro play that I fucked up. So that is something I really have to improve on, and it's something that's pretty consistent for the past few games that I've uploaded. And yeah, here, I don't know if you can tell, I'm struggling. I don't know what to buy. I bought anti-heal just because the enemy has some sort of physical vamp. And I'm looking to build the Mortal Reminder for the tank items later. And here I'm looking to buy Death Stance to survive the burst, because Syndra has a lot of burst. And yeah, just getting some sort of defense against their high damage team would be very useful, since my damage alone from Trinity Force is actually quite enough, as you can see just now by me just dashing into Caitlyn's face. But I have to look for those angles, and I will say I'm not doing a good job at that. That is something that I really have to improve on if I aim to climb to a higher rank. Kai'Sa got caught out at mid lane, unfortunately. There's a lot of enemy CC, so probably can't blame her on it. We got the red buff, and I immediately hover and try to help mid and realize that everyone's falling back already. So instead, I look for the Garen. And here I see the Garen. I miss the wind becomes lightning, and I'm already taking damage because he's bought the new Sunfire Cape item that uses that is magic resist. And I ulted late, and I think I only hit the Vi. And this is a very weird fight. This is a fight where I feel like we would be able to win, but we are losing. And the Gwen was not able to get a single kill on the tanks. So that was very curious, and only now did I realize the Gwen is actually 1 and 6. She is even further behind than me. And she really shouldn't, especially when Garen is only building magic resist, and Gwen does a lot of true damage. If she hits the correct angle with her snip, she should be doing a lot of damage to Garen. It's a rough lane, I won't lie. Like, it's really rough to lane against Garen as Gwen, because Garen has execute, and Gwen is, you kind of need to fight long-ish. If the Garen knows how to trade, knows the trade patterns, and just trade grasps, it's really difficult to fight. I understand that, but at the same time, she was kind of our winning condition. She is very important to our team, and the enemy team keeping her behind so much is definitely a problem because we relied on her to take down the tanks. Now we have to hope that Kai'Sa is building Blade of the Rune King, and then she will be able to survive long enough. Here, I tried to get the scuttle and just got punished for it, but luckily I have my flash and my ulti. But then, yeah, I'm rage pinging the Blitzcrank there because, I don't know, I feel like the Blitzcrank could be doing a lot. He has his ultimate, he should be able to stop the enemies, but he's just, yeah, I don't feel like the Blitzcrank is really there. His grabs are not really on point. I don't feel like he's grabbed anyone. He grabbed someone there, but then he still died, because out of everyone, he grabbed the Leona. And the enemy team is just way too fed. There's a fed Syndra, a fed Caitlyn, and a fed Garen that's building full tank but is doing a lot of damage, and a fed Vi. So the entire enemy team is fed, is 722. Honestly, there's not much we can do here. As you can see, I did my full combo almost, the Wind Becomes Lightning, and it dealt no damage to the Garen. He used his ability, and he's not building any armor. And here, immediately, the Blitzcrank just started going AFK. And, yeah. The enemy team went for the dragon, I can't contest that. And the Gwen is starting to steal my jungle, which I guess is fine in that situation, simply because if she doesn't take it, the enemies are going to take it. But the enemy just has so much CC, we aren't able to play the game, and Gwen just died once again because she's just getting outranged. She just got CC'd in her mist because Leona is a melee, and then I just kind of stood there for a minute and I lost 50% of my health, and I'm forced to back and buy my death stance, which, looking back, it's probably not the right decision. Instead, I probably should have just bought Sundered Sky since we're set going behind now. And yeah, it was really rough, and here I'm able to pick up one kill, but then I couldn't get the second because I used my Audacious Charge early and Caitlyn just flashed away. I would chase her, but I saw the Vi mid just now, so if I chased her and I spent too much time chasing her, Vi will come back and just turn the fight around. So I couldn't chase and I just stayed, but then Vi just decided to stay in the bush and wait for me, and I just died. And here, I was fuming in this fight, by the way. Like, I was just screaming at Kai'Sa, why is she running into melee range against a Vi? She is a ranged champion. Instead, she ran into melee range to fight the Vi, and I felt so sad, and she just died. And she was building the magnetic blaster. So she's kind of building crit, and then I'm not sure if I'm correct, but let's see. Yeah, she built Gunblade. So she's building crit item first, and then she built on hit item, but she doesn't have much on hit aside from her passive. So we have no one to kill tanks. The Gwen is not fed, and then the only other person that would build Blade of the Rune King was Kai'Sa, and she's not fed and she didn't buy Blade of the Rune King. So we have no ways of dealing with the front line. I don't have the item to deal with the front line. Gwen is not dealing with the front line, and so the game is kind of just over, honestly. It's 8-28. We're 20 kills behind. We needed to do something miraculous. The enemy has to continue making mistake. So here, I just decided I'll just get the blue buff, and then I ulted and tried to escape. I successfully escaped, but I think I got someone killed by boosting someone back. But then Blitzcrank is completely AFK. He's not even playing the game anymore. And yeah, it was a bad situation. It's really rough from start to finish, and of course I can blame my team all day, but at the end of the day, I still make quite a few mistakes. I made quite a few micro mistakes. My skill is not good enough, and here I just got completely CC'd and I couldn't use my stone plate in time, and the enemy just walked down our nexus. It's a valiant effort from my teammates. Leona just ulted to get that CC timing, I guess. But yeah, teammate tried their best to defend the nexus, but there's just nothing to come back from, and I'm beginning to see the weakness of Xin Zhao. If I can't get the early game fight, especially like the one at the bottom river just now against the Vi, I just wouldn't be able to win against anything, and that's something that I have to improve on. And I lost my Fortitude card, so I didn't really lose rank there, but still, it's a really rough game, but I know what to work on now, and I'll see you in the next game, actually. But it's not a Xin Zhao game, but I felt like that was fun to watch. Welcome back, or if you just continue watching, hello again. I'm recording this a separate time because I need some time to rest my voice. But here we have a Renekton game. The reason why I decided to go Renekton is because my enemy laner is Mordekaiser. I was thinking about going Gnar because I just love Gnar. I think Gnar is like the cutest fucking legend out there. Cutest champion out there. But then I do realize that Mordekaiser's shield is going to be very annoying to deal with. And if I'm behind on Gnar, it's going to be very difficult to fight against a Mordekaiser. So instead, I decided to go with Renekton, who has innate shield shredding with his empowered second ability. And here I used a tech from Strider. I don't know if you guys know Strider. He's like one of the best Wild Rift education YouTuber out there. He stopped making any videos, I think, but the content that he did make was extremely useful. I watched his Kassadin video and I just became like a master of Kassadin for like a season. And then I reached like high ranks where people can just completely demolish me. But anyway, Renekton has very good wave clear, has very good burst damage, which is extremely good against Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser is someone that wants to keep fighting. His main damage, believe it or not, actually comes from his passive. His Q does a lot of damage if you're alone fighting him, but if you're around your minions, it's usually his passive that does the most damage. And in the early battle just now, I upgraded my third ability to build up my rage, just in case, and then I used my empowered second ability to immediately shred his armor. And here, as you can see, his shield just got completely destroyed. He was one level ahead of me, I think. No, he's not one level ahead of me. But he got more abilities on me and hits on me than I did. But I was able to equalize the situation just from the armor shredding. So yeah, it's actually a very good trade. And I see that he brought teleport. So I already knew that I have lane prio better than him overall. So I decided to just stay and just get my fruit and just try my best to hold the wave. I don't think he missed any minion, but here I just go for a burst trade and I realize my damage is not very high. He probably bought armor boots, but I heard on my way and I looked at the map and I see that our jungler is going for the scuttle, which is very dangerous because Mordekaiser left. But he tricked me. He actually just hid in the bush and I nearly got killed, but I luckily flashed away before anything terrible happened. And Amumu pinged on his way, so I stayed. It was very dangerous to stay, but I decided to anyway. And I think Mordekaiser flashed the wrong direction. But here is where what I'm talking about in just now in the video. My micro is horrible. I thought I pressed the empowered auto attack. I don't know if you track back in the video, you can see that I clicked the edge of the auto attack button. That's when I tried to use the empowered auto to shred his shield or stun him in order to survive. But I missed the button completely and just kept auto-attacking him. And I was so lucky to stay alive there. I just completely fucked up. That fight that had no reason to be that close. I made that fight difficult for myself. And here I messed up the buy. I did not notice that I bought the dagger because I was like, oh, $900, I can just buy boots and get the life steal scythe. But apparently I bought a dagger and I didn't buy the boots. So that's a huge mistake. Like, attack speed on Renekton does nothing, especially when you're just going for burst trade. So it's a bad buy, and yeah, I have so much to work on in terms of these micro decisions, even just from the buy menu. I don't know why they put a skill gap in the buy menu, but anyway, once again, just going for some burst trades, and here I got knocked into tower. Luckily, I didn't get shot, but here, once again, it's another thing. I feel like I saw when I was like watching Royal's stream or whatever, I see a lot of people asking questions on how to defeat Mordekaiser. And personally, I don't have too huge of an issue dealing with him. But to be fair, I'm usually fighting him with Gwen or Renekton, as you see right now. Gwen, for me, is just rushing the anti-shield item before you go for any chase. But then I see that what's his name? Mordekaiser went mid, so immediately started pushing the wave, and then I realized I'm too slow. But the wave is to push them now, so I just decided I'll just nuke the wave, force the wave to push down in the tower, and try to deny the minion from Mordekaiser, and I successfully do so. He actually missed one minion, and he's quite behind in terms of EXP if you look at the EXP bar. So denying him that minion is actually pretty good, and the wave is just in a very ugly spot. However, I needed to clear this wave somehow. But I have no rage meter, and he has quite a bit of shield build up. So I was very wary of pushing in just now because I know from the tempo there's a very high chance that Hecarim was gonna gank me, and we saw him on the ward. That's why he didn't catch me out, and I didn't have to flash. I think I waited for something. I thought he had anti-heal, so I waited until the anti-heal is over before taking my honey fruit. But I decided to stay another wave because I'm almost getting my Blade of the Ruin King, and Mordekaiser completely missed his ability and had to flash away. I'm not sure. I think the Mordekaiser is not very familiar with the champion, because if he continued fighting there, I think he would have had the upper edge. My spacing here is not good. I will say my spacing has been ass so far, which is something I have to work on, but you will see me improve as the game goes on. My spacing becomes a little better throughout the fight, but here I was able to save my ulti and kind of surprise him by getting a lot of HP back, and now the fight is very close. And I can see that I'm one level ahead. So a dive here wouldn't be terrible. I'm gonna die for it, but a dive here would be pretty nice. So I shred his armor. He pushed me away, but luckily I actually hit the stun before he pushed me away and just dashed back in to use my Call the Meek, and killed him. So got a pretty good trade. If we're missing minions, he's the one that's gonna be suffering since I'm already ahead because he did that little mid roam. But huge props to my jungler, huge props to my other lanes. They're winning their lanes completely. So I think this is a very good game for me to demonstrate how you can be useful without being the win condition. So right now I'm looking at the scoreboard. I see that there's three fires going on, and I know I'm not the winning condition this time. And we have two ADCs from mid lane and our AD lane. So I immediately bought just pre-order Black Cleaver because they're going to be doing a lot of physical damage, and if I can reduce the enemy armor, that's good. And here I decided, okay, I'll harass the enemy a bit. I'm just building up my rage meter by hitting the Rift Herald, and now that I realize Mordekaiser is alone, I can kind of go in, but I used my empowered auto early, so I did not shred his shield, so that's one huge mistake there. And then I ulted to try to get the Herald, but unfortunately the enemy has smite, and I got killed. But this is how you win the fight. This is how you win the game. The enemy completely focused on me. The Syndra threw his ult on me. The enemy Hecarim used his ult on me. Now the enemy is ultless. And my Fed teammates are coming back to clean up. All because I stood in front, dealt damage, burnt their abilities. And look at that. 1 for 4. That's how you win games. That's how you be a front line for the team without being the win condition. Sometimes to win, you have to make sacrifices, and I was the sacrifice there, and I'm completely fine with doing that because that's my job. All I have to do is waste their abilities, shred their armor, survive if I can. And there, I couldn't survive because I got like 3 ults thrown at me. And that's good enough, because then my squishy teammates, they have nothing to deal with my squishy teammates. The Syndra used most of her cooldowns on me, the Hecarim used most of his cooldowns on me, and he's overextended, and I lasted long enough for backup to arrive, and even though we lost the Rift Herald, we got a very good deal out of that fight, because I have no bounty on me, while my teammates that are fed continues to get fed. So yeah, now I'm just farming side lanes, going to lanes where it doesn't matter too much, and because I defended my turret long enough and the enemy turret is still up on top lane, our ADC can farm there pretty safely. And then you can see that there's a mid fight going on, and I immediately started pushing up. I see that the enemies are rotating, so I pinged to my team like, okay, the enemies are going to be coming soon, so they have to play safer, and they do. They are starting to play towards the tower, as you can see in the mini-map, and I will offer no value by going over there right now. So instead, I continue pushing the lane, because right now, I need to get some money, and me going there doesn't help the team. Instead, if I split push, if I can get this tower, that's how I become helpful to the team. Because my teammates should be strong enough to win those fights on their own. I add 0 value. Instead, I take this tower, get the wave, and my teammates are winning fights. They're trading, but they're winning the fights most of the time. And here, once again, they burn a lot of cooldowns, and I know I can stay there just now, because I know I have my abilities up, my flash is still up, and my ult is still up. Even if he continues to flash, I can still ult, and there's still a chance for me to get away. So that's how you become useful. I got quite a few skills, got quite a few cooldowns, got a tower, I burned my flash, but I escaped, didn't give a kill, got the tower. And now the situation is just very good for my teammates. Our Amumu is completely smurfing it, so I know I'm not the win condition, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes you need to know what your team's winning condition is and focus on that instead. And that's why I'm still continue building my Black Cleaver and going to lanes where my carries are not going to, because that's the best you can do right now, and that's the only thing you need to do. All I have to do is not int and not give enemy free kills so that they can get back into the game. And as I say that, I make a wrong decision. I thought I could take this tower a lot faster than I do, but I was able to dash out luckily, so not the worst situation. The Mordekaiser is one level down, and I have the shield shred, so I'm not too worried about a fight. But still, I'm a little wary because there's no enemies on the map aside from Mordekaiser. For all I know, they could just be hiding in the bush. I see the Syndra teleporting in, and then I know that this is gonna get dangerous. So I'm beginning to path backwards, or at least path in a way where I can just dash back. And here, yeah, immediately the enemies show up, and I just fall back. And then the Lux is here, and she gets a great root off, and then I know that she has a lot of damage, and she got grabbed by the Mordekaiser. I could dive to the Syndra right now, but then it could be the wrong play. Instead, I stay around the Lux, hope that she survives, and just destroy the Mordekaiser after the Lux has done a shit ton of damage already. I hit out of vision, and the Lux immediately baited herself, and that's very smart. And then she baited in the Syndra to use her ulti, and then I try my best to get the Syndra, but I kind of messed up my abilities. I don't know why I got turret aggro there, but immediately we get to chase behind, and then we can secure the kill on Syndra. That was very well played by my Lux there. I don't think I played that too well. I think I definitely could have played that a lot better, but my Lux did a phenomenal job. I can definitely see why we had a winning duo lane now. But on the other side of the map, my teammates are still winning fights. So that's very good overall. We didn't lose anyone top, we got 2 kills, and our teammates are also winning fights, or at least doing equal trades here. And I immediately arrive, but by the time I arrive, they don't really need me anymore. Of course, I try to help chase the Hecarim, but then a super snipe from Varus, and the fight has ended. And we can actually look for a Baron. I immediately get the Rift Scuttler because I still need some resources. I've been giving a lot of resources to my teammates because I let them take the lanes first, but I still need resources, so I get it where I can. I almost pathed towards mid lane there and would have been caught out by the Caitlyn Syndra and just got bursted down, but luckily I saw them in the minimap just 1 second before. And here I was able to burn the Caitlyn's flash before the what's that thing? Baron Nashor. So that's very good. And my teammates are just starting Baron, so I immediately path up and try my best to zone. And they were already like 3,000. And here I just stopped the Syndra before she could actually manage to do anything. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's how you win without being the win condition. I tried to steal the Raptors, do a sneaky there, but Hecarim was there to defend. And I saw that Lucian is fighting the Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser is not fed because I make sure that I didn't let the Mordekaiser get fed, even though I'm not really like winning the lane. It's just equal. The most he got was what the map offered him. So instead, I just ran up and my teammates get kills. And here, the Hecarim did a very good job to just locking down the Lux, and I wasted my empowered auto. And here I just missed my auto attack again. And yeah, I did not play that well. I think I definitely could have killed the Hecarim if I played that a lot better. I think my flash was off, my abilities were off, I miscalculated the distance. If I flashed a little earlier and hit my empowered auto a little earlier, I definitely could have killed the Hecarim. So that's really on me. The Lux gave her life for nothing, and I just let her die. So that's completely on me. I think the Lux played really well. She survived. She did a lot in that situation. Got Hecarim really low, and I couldn't finish the fight. So that's completely my bad. In any case, yeah, I'm not offering up too much damage, nor am I offering up enough tankiness. So I'm not a frontline. I'm not strong enough to be a frontline. Instead, I bought Strikebreaker because that's all I need to do. I just need to keep the enemies slowed or stunned because my teammates are able to do a lot of damage. And here I just kind of like roam around with my ADC, my carries, to protect them. And just push out the lanes and just get resources, get vision. That's very important. And I stepped on a trap and everyone immediately crawled to me, which is very, very scary. But yeah, I just make sure that I don't die, don't int, and just kind of hover and look for an opportunity, which doesn't really present itself. No, your video did not get muted. I just stopped talking because there's not really much to talk about right now, and I realize I yap a lot in my own videos. But yeah, this is a very good game to demonstrate how you can be in a winning team without being the winning condition. but still be helpful. That was a very good cleanse right there by the Hecarim. He actually dodged multiple CCs with that, but that misstep nearly cost him his life. And here, that was a very brave movement by Amumu, and here is once again my micro. I think I dashed in the moment Amumu went golden because I was trying to save him, but because he went golden, I took the turret aggro instead, and I couldn't get out in time before Blitzcrank knocked me up. And when he's out of his stasis, the enemies don't have cooldowns. So we actually won that fight because Amumu was still alive, and I just baited out enough cooldowns for my team to win the fight. And now they can get an inhibitor and potentially look at an end game here because the enemy team is only respawning now. But they didn't really have enough damage because it's actually only 15 minutes into the game. So they can't really just destroy the tower, but getting an inhibitor is huge. And here I'm just building Stairs Gauge, I believe, because I needed that extra little tankiness, because that lifeline shield is very useful. The enemy team doesn't really have enough burst to burst me down, unless they caught me completely off guard. I still have my ulti. Honestly, Radiant Virtue would have been a pretty good buy here, because my teammates are the one that needs to survive, and if I pop my ult slightly later, it can turn the tide for a fight. But, that's something to think about. But anyway, here I try to catch the Xin Zhao off guard. Once again, micro! Where is my micro? Missed the stun, missed everything, and I'm gonna get punished for it. Luckily, the tower is still up, but I ulted, and I just stayed out of vision. I was gonna flash away, but then I realized the whole team is here, so I should stay and offer something to the table. Even little damage is gonna help. All I have to do is just make sure I don't in, and there you go. That entire fight, I did one stun, did a little bit of damage, got their cooldowns, and my teammate just completely aced the team. So I will say I'm playing this game horribly. This game I didn't play too well. There are many angles where I could get myself ahead, and I didn't. I did hinder Mordekaiser's growth a little bit just from fundamentals, as they say, through denying minions or whatsoever. But in those moments, I am able to help the team just by denying certain entries, stunning some people, and just staying alive and not dive in headfirst in crazy situations. So while I don't deserve this win just solely for my effort, I think I did a pretty good job at being useful without being a hindrance to my team and just playing with the win conditions that are my teammates this game. But definitely because my team played well, the only reason why I won. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll bring you another Xin Zhao game tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be a better Xin Zhao game tomorrow and I don't have to resort to a bonus game once again.